in my hair. I was like, oh, finally.
In the city fields, contemplating cherry trees, strangers are like friends. Issa. What's up, everybody? Back at it again with the usual suspects.
Nice.
Today,
nice.
I'm joined by my good friends Gilbert Santos and Robert Nunez. What's going on, people?
A lot.
It's going.
What's not going on?
What's not going on? I mean, we're still...
Reread that passage, though.
The haiku?
Yeah, the haiku.
Oh, damn. I lost my...
Oh, you did?
Here we go. In the city fields, contemplating cherry trees, strangers are like friends.
Okay.
What do you think?
I still can't understand it.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Let's go one more time.
Okay.
In the city fields, contemplating cherry trees, strangers are like friends.
In the city fields?
So it's like they're in a big city, and in the big city there's a lot of cherry trees. They're the ones that blossom with the pink
Yeah.
during spring, and strangers are looking at them, and they maybe come across someone who's passing, like, hey, look, that's a pretty nice tree. That's what I get from it. I don't know if that's too logical but that's just basic. It's like an observation that this guy made.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool.
But
Nice.
I like to do those haikus because they get the juices flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And get you thinking.
they get you thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what this podcast is about. But anyway, today is what is today? We're on the 53rd episode of the podcast. It's been about a year and 4 months.
Nice job.
You guys started. I think we started with you guys back in the day.
We recorded off our phone in
yeah.
the law office
Yeah.
to test it out to record our mastermind meetings.
Mhm.
I still have the recording.
You have that recording?
Yeah.
I had a recording too that I had secretly put just to see how it would go. I never listened to it. I don't know if we had good content then or now.
We're learning.
Recently, the main topic of today is how to run a marathon. You guys. I mean, this podcast has been overdue. First it was I wasn't ready with the equipment. Then it was the surgery that I just had, and then it was just life getting in the way. But finally, you guys are here. Was it a couple of months ago now?
A month ago.
A month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So a month ago, you guys decided to just get on the road and run a marathon.
No, it wasn't a month ago. We decided. You're a part of it, and you have a part of this whole marathon thing. It was more than a month ago. How long? 6 months ago. When did you create the idea? Yeah.
Well, me personally.
Yeah,
I
you
already
had told
thought
us
about it a while back, but yeah, it was like 6 months.
Okay,
5
so
months ago, 5
six
ago.
months is when the idea started. So that's a good.
I think that's when we set the date, right? When did we set the date? I think that's when
We set the date 3 months
3
before.
months ago. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But a month ago, you guys
We
had the option, like I did,
Yeah.
to back out
Oh.
because I thought I wasn't ready at that time. Obviously my deviated septum, I was like running on 20-30% oxygen.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now?
I can breathe, man.
Is it life changing? Is it?
100%. I feel like I'm more focused. I don't feel as fatigued during the day. I feel like I'm sleeping a lot better now.
Nice.
I feel a lot better, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is it similar to you wear glasses? Is it similar to when you first wore glasses and you realized you had been seen with bad vision?
Driving because mine are for long distance, so it wasn't until about a year ago that I noticed that the signs were getting blurrier. Before then, I either never paid attention to it or my vision was fine. And then a year ago, it might have been being on the computer a lot more that really got me. So I just decided, I'm like, you know what? It's getting blurry. I just better go get checked. I went to get checked. They said that I had what is it called? A slight, I forget what the term is called, but it's just it's a slight, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, he just said that you just need it for driving. Things are gonna look like they're HD, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I can actually see perfectly fine without my glasses. I can still read things, but since I'm on the computer a lot, the transition it's like an hour transition before I can like focus again. So I just keep them on every time I'm doing something like this. It just makes it easier to read everything.
So the whole nose thing didn't feel like that experience to you. The nose thing was completely different.
It was more intense.
That you could finally breathe now.
Yeah. I really never paid attention to how much breathing impacts your life. Yeah, until recently. I mean, it was a Tuesday. I got the procedure done. Then it was like a week before I could do anything. I went to the post-op. They took off the stents. So they put stents in there to hold everything in place. Took them out. The surgeon's like, just blow everything out. I did. It was like, just mucus, blood, everything. It was pretty gross. But as soon as I got everything out, for the most part, because I still have a little residual, but immediately I was able to breathe with both my nostrils. Where before it was either or. Mainly it was my left one. But now I can breathe. I've noticed that my voice changed a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
like before it was very nasally. It's not I mean, that's the way I hear myself.
Like internally hearing yourself, you can hear like a nasal, because I don't hear the difference. But.
Yeah. Well, I think you might have noticed it if we hung out more.
Okay.
We had like longer conversations. I don't know. Some people said they noticed it, and some people say that it changed, but
okay. Well, congrats.
Thanks, man.
That's amazing.
Dude, it's been dude, I could not smell for the life of me. I could not smell before.
Now you could smell, like, let's say you're smelling pizza. Is it smell differently now?
Yeah. Food, taste, my taste got better. Because your senses are they're entangled, I guess. Like if you plug your nose and you eat something, you can't taste it the same.
That's why, like, when, I don't know if you guys did it when you were younger, when you take medicine.
Exactly.
And then you hold your nose to take the medicine so you don't. Is that right?
Exactly why.
Oh, I haven't done that in a really long time.
Yeah. But, dude, 100%.
Wow.
Nice. So you're ready. You're ready for a marathon now.
I'm not ready. So I have to train now.
So actually, this is
train.
what, just so if anybody's listening, this is what made you not run the marathon with us. You were part of the group that was going to run the marathon. That was the reason why you didn't. Yeah.
Well, the main reason. Yeah. I mean, I trained.
And now that you are feeling better, are you considering?
100%, man. Yeah. But I've noticed that the work that I've been doing, just kind of working a little bit more from home, being like sitting down, my joints are killing me, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like if I get up and let's say that my dog will run out the door and I chase her, my knees are like not. I'm not 20 anymore, dude.
You wear a knee brace?
No.
So let's go, because this is actually how we had to prepare for the marathon. One of the things was we were hurting. We started to feel the pain of running 9 miles, 8 miles. I don't know. Do you feel any more joint pain in your knees anymore? Yeah. You still getting the pain? Yeah. But you guys, I wore the knee brace. I wore on my left knee, and then I wore the compression socks, only because I knew that pain was going to come in, and it helped out a lot.
I didn't. I actually ran with hiking shoes. Like they were pretty heavy, but they were very, they were very sturdy and in the grip. I mean, I destroyed those shoes, but I didn't wear any knee brace. So after I felt it. I felt my knees, my ankles, everything was hurting.
I wore shoes that were over maybe 2 years old, $40 Nikes. I just want to make that you wore hiking shoes. I wore I wore $40. I just want to make so when if people want to run a marathon, they want to be a perfectionist and they're like, no, I gotta get $120 Asics. No, you could run it in $40 2-year-old Nikes and hiking shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, it happened. That happened.
Right.
Now looking back on it, we really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it could have maybe decreased our pain and increased our endurance, our time. I can't give a percentage, but I know it would have made it better because it was really the shoes that I think weakened me like halfway through or maybe even a little towards the end.
Yeah, well, 26.7 miles?
20.2.
26.2?
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles. Like, I don't think people... If you've never ran a marathon, because I saw you guys, I was there that day, and I kind of followed you guys in the car.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in time I'm like, damn, these guys are crazy. Like, I can't, especially during the lagoon, because what was it, Dana Point?
So where did we start? We started in Laguna?
Sunset Beach.
To Sunset.
To
Laguna was
Huntington Harbor.
okay. Laguna was probably the worst one, don't you think?
No, because that was at the beginning. For me, at least. For me, it was.
Yeah, if we're talking about hills,
Yeah.
Laguna's the worst. But once the hills weren't the problem, the problem came a little bit towards the end. At the end, and this is flat Huntington Beach. We're talking really flat. This is very painful a little towards the end. So we began six months ago, and then we no. I don't think everybody was taking it serious. I think you were, Gilbert, taking it a little more serious, but I think once we set a date, that's when I think everybody kind of straightened up and was like, okay, how do we train for a marathon? I didn't read any articles or anything. I remember reading years ago because I wanted to run this marathon for a long time, but they said just keep working your way up to 15 miles, drop back down to 10, then keep going, or go to 5, run. It's just keep running. So I just remembered that, and the most I ran in those 6 months, the highest was a 10 mile run. Yeah. That was it. After that, I kept running 8 miles, 7 miles.
Was it on flat, like flat
it was sidewalks? Yeah, just regular sidewalks around. Yeah, I wasn't preparing for hills. I didn't go to 16 or 15 miles, but I just went to 10, and I mean, that was my full running training.
How long did it take you to get to the 10?
I don't even remember because I don't remember because I didn't really time myself either. I wasn't trying to.
Might have been like 3 months from the 6 months. Like at 3 months, you were at 10, or?
Oh no! It just one day I just wanted to run 10. Okay. I had that feeling I wanted to run 10, and that's it. Other than those, the rest were 7 mile trainings. But that was my training. I don't know. What was yours like?
Mine was, I actually got up to 13 miles, and I was running every day. Running every day.
What does Joe say? What a fist.
Yeah.
Away from your face.
I was running every day. I was taking it serious because to me it was just the beginning of something bigger that I want to do. You know that, and this was just an obstacle, and I was happy that my friends, you guys were on board with it, and then the support. But definitely we trained as much as we knew. We weren't really didn't know what to
cheers,
expect.
Guys, really quick.
Oh yeah.
Just we're here. We're live. Cheers to everybody listening.
Cheers.
I didn't want to cut you off, but
no. But yeah, we prepared as much as at least I did as much as I could, and I was just constantly looking at videos and stuff like that. But
what kind of videos were you watching?
Like running videos, like long distance, or how to like the strides, or what to do to prepare.
Did you change anything in your run? What did you pick up from those videos?
The stretching. They emphasize a lot of the stretching.
Yeah,
I can just imagine Gilbert on Pornhub looking at stamina. How to keep your stamina.
I was like, are they stretching properly?
It's all in the breathing.
Yeah.
If you want to keep that stamina.
That's I think that's the one thing that I learned the most is stretching. And right now that you mentioned that your joints are hurting, even if we're not exercising, if you're stretching at least an hour a day,
right?
man, it makes a huge difference because you're making sure that your muscles are nice and stretched, your tendons, and then when you have to do like a quick sprint to do something, you're not hurting, and you're not also, in a chance to getting hurt, because you're just doing it. So it's stretching, but I mean, it was definitely a great experience. Definitely something that I want to do again. It was really cool.
I did take the stretching serious. That was the one I took the most serious, was the stretching. And so running 7, okay, you ran max 13 miles
13, yeah,
to train for the marathon, max 13. And in the 3 to 6 months, right? Or 6 months, whatever, I ran 10. And then we took stretching, older shoes, whatever shoes. And the thing that I think helped us out and helped us get to the end was the support that we had along the way. Because right now we're in COVID times. There's no marathons going on. So you technically run alone. And if you wanted to, where do you go to use the restroom? That was one. What about water? Because when you pay for a marathon, which is $200, $300, you get all those amenities. You get porta potties, and then you get people handing you water every certain miles and snacks or whatever. You get help. But when you're on your own and you have to run, we needed the help. So we had Marco helped us out, and then we had Dan. We had Dan. He followed us in the first 13 miles. He would give us like water,
little Gatorades.
He gave us little Gatorades, water bottles, and then he'd meet us in another mile. But he was just following us on the side. He gave us a snack, which is really good. And then there was this one moment in my 13th mile, I cramped up really bad because I stopped, and that was the thing I shouldn't have done, was stop. I stopped and I tried to stretch.
Ooh.
And it pulled a calf, like my calf, it really bad. So much so that was the first time in the whole marathon that I realized I might not finish it. Well, Dan was right there. He pulls over, just catches me, and then I tell him I have a cramp, and he gives me his last little bottle of pickle juice, because apparently the salt helps with the cramps.
Right.
So he gives me the pickle juice. I down that. It was really tasty too. And I start walking, just slowly letting the cramp go away, and then just slowly pick up my speed again. And I did not stop after that. There was no way my body would have shut down. So that helped a lot. Dan giving us water. My sister met us up at another checkpoint with some bananas and some more water. And then his sister showed up with her boyfriend, and they helped us out with some water, and it really was also a support, like a very emotional,
like a moral support.
It was
that was cool.
It was really nice. Even just Dan, who I've never met before, but I would say if you're gonna plan to run a marathon and there's no real marathons going on, try to get some people to help you out. And then we used the restroom in Huntington Beach. Well, I did. And that was really important, because I was like, well, we had discussed that, hey, look, if you got to piss yourself, just piss yourself. It is sweat, whatever. It'll dry off, whatever you got to do, just pee. We had discussed that. So I was already that. But when I saw the restroom, I was like, fuck it, let's go. That was a big mistake too, because I had to stop. So just getting started again, it took me. So stopping is a really big problem. Yeah. But the support system was really important. And could I have done it without the support system? I would have needed to plan for water. You have to plan for water. A lot of water. So if you ran it alone, dropping water bottles off in certain places, which Dan did for us.
And then you guys also did it as early as possible. So you guys started at 5, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that helped a lot.
5 a.m. Yeah,
especially because we ran down the PCH, so it's very busy, especially on a weekend. And I told this guy, let's start as early as we can. And it at 5 a.m. it was still dark. So we were running, and it was dark, but it got better. But we beat all that traffic, especially in Laguna, and that's what we wanted, because it's just, the cars and then the crossing.
Well, yeah. So towards the end, I don't know if it happened to you. in mile 23, I couldn't stop. Like, I knew if I stopped for a car or if I stopped for people, I wasn't going to be able to get my legs moving again.
Yeah.
So even towards the end, I was just waving cars to that I'm not stopping, and I didn't care. I was just like, no, I'm not. They can honk at me, they can do whatever. I'm not going to stop. Did you have to like?
I was going. At one. I mean, so we started at 5 a.m. and I was pumped. I mean, I ran in high school, you know, and stuff like that. So I've always ran. But this was the first time that I've ran this far.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just getting mentally, and that's when we were talking. And I was like, all right, we burnt the ships. There's no turning back. We're gonna finish, whether we walk, whether we crawl. We're gonna finish this thing. You know, it's only us two. You know, everybody else couldn't make it.
It's 5 a.m. and it's still dark, and we're stretching. It's like a real half-ass stretch, okay? Only because you have probably already had stretched, and we're just kind of like looking at each other, like, oh man, this is happening.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the guy Dan to show up, that he was gonna help us, and we're right there. We're just pacing, and it's kind of like we will die on this sidewalk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before we even think about quitting. We will die on this sidewalk.
And I was all right. Fuck it, I'm dying.
Yeah, we're dying. We're either finishing a marathon or we're dying today.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to pull me away in a stretcher before I turn back.
And I'm glad I ran in with this guy, because I mean, the help, it really helped a lot. But it was the fact that like this guy's running with me and we committed to something. You know, I'm like, all right, we got to go. Like, there's no stopping. And I was just praying that there was no cars coming by, so I could just. You know, and in those crossings, I would have to speed up, and it would hurt. It would hurt, especially because, I mean, from mile 1 to 13, I felt great. I was like, man, I'm really doing this. This is good.
Dude, you had a crazy pace.
Yeah, I was going pretty fast.
Yeah,
I was going pretty fast.
So we stayed together, and he was gone.
Because I mean, I went in there with the mind of finishing it, but also just giving it my all. Like, I'm like, I'm just.
You told me before you even ran it that you wanted to finish it in 4 hours.
No, 3.
Oh,
and I was at a pace. I was at that pace till mile 20. So from mile 1 to 20, I was on that 8 minute mile pace. But once I saw you and I hit mile 20, and you were cheering me on, it really pumped me up. So thank you for that. But at the same time, I try to like get into another gear.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, with my cramp. And we're in COVID, so everybody sees you, and everybody saw me like just almost falling to the ground because it was hurting. I could feel the ball just coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like walking and I'm stretching. I had to stop a little, and everybody was just walking away, and I was like, fuck, like this thing hurts. And then I started running again. And then the other leg started going, and I was like, man, that was my moment where I'm like, damn, like this really hurts. Like I don't know if I could keep on going. And all you see is just a straight road. There's no no shade, nothing. And I'm like, man, I have to do it.
Brutal. There's no shade. Like by that time it must have been 10, 11.
11.
Right?
11.
Yeah.
So the sun is beating down on you.
Oh, it was crazy.
You have the traffic. There's smog. The sidewalks getting hot.
We ran on the right side of the street, so we're on the asphalt, right?
Right.
And it was really hot.
I was on the left.
Oh, okay.
Because I went onto the bike the bike trail or whatever.
Like the walking trail next to the beach.
So I couldn't figure it out because it was hurting. My leg was hurting because we were running on the PCH. So I decided to go on the walk on the boardwalk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like going, and this is mile 22, 23, and we're by ourselves now because, I left you behind, and then Julie was at mile 24. So I was by myself for like 3 miles, and I'm going, and I'm like barely moving, man. I could barely move. My legs are just done. And I'm seeing people are just relaxing, barbecuing, and then people. And the thing that I hate the most is people passing me, because I'm like, no, I gotta go, and people were just passing me. Like
people that were jogging.
They were jogging, walking, and I'm just like barely going, and they have no idea what I'm going through. And at this point, I'm by myself.
What mile?
Mile 22, mile 23. I'm like by myself, and my thoughts everything starts coming in, and I'm just like, man, I can't stop. but everything hurts. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't come here to walk. So I'm going, and then I stop for a little bit. And then I'm like, no, I can't stop, because if I stop, I won't be able to make it. And then I was like, where's Julie? He was like, where's Marco? I was like, I need some water. So when I hit mile 24, I see my sister. And I'm like I'm barely moving. We look like old people, like running. I'm just like barely moving. In my head, I'm going. And then I'm moving my shoulders really fast, but my feet aren't responding. Yeah. I'm just like dragging them.
Yeah.
And then I see my sister, and I get super emotional. Like, I was just like, man, I'm not alone. Like, it was just... And then I see her, and then she's handing me the water, and I start like crying. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I gotta go. I was like, I gotta go. And she's like, I was like, I gotta go. And then I'm like, I'm going, and I'm crying my way, you know, for a couple minutes. I'm crying. I was like, all right, I gotta shake this off. And when I see the finish line, I was like, damn, that 6 miles took me an hour and a half of just fighting and struggling. And then I finally get to the end, and I'm like, and I touched the there was like a snowboard on the light pole.
That was the finish line.
That was the finish line. So I tapped that, and I'm just like, what an experience. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is...
And then another thing that you did that kind of baffled me, that I don't think I would have been able to do, was run without headphones or anything.
Oh yeah.
You were like dry.
He ran without headphones,
right?
Oh yeah. I was like, I wanna be in it. Like, I really wanna like experience this and experience myself and my thoughts and
I'm gonna have to say though, I ran with headphones the entire way. I forgot I was listening to music.
I'm sure.
I wasn't even listening to music
it
anymore.
It was like car noise.
Great car noise. I was so into myself, my mind, my thoughts, my body. You can have all the noise. It didn't matter. I was still here in my mind. I couldn't escape it.
Yeah,
and it was getting louder and louder. And the moments of a lot of pain. And that's why I couldn't go faster. I was giving it my all, but any more movement was pain. So I was like, this is a good pace. Let's stay here. Let's just run this.
Right.
And I really think that's the key, is to
Find your pace.
Mind your pace, get a pace and stick with it. Don't try to beat somebody. Don't try to push it. Just finish get your pace, keep your pace, whatever feels comfortable. Because like we said, like, we went really hard at the beginning, like really hard, and those were hills and everything. I realized that was detrimental later on, because it ended up killing all my energy. I was trying to go fast at the beginning, where I could have just said, as long as I set my pace, I can finish this normal. Right. Although it still would have been painful, but setting a pace was, looking back on it, key. Really important. Yeah.
Well, this whole time, I think I dropped off at the, like 2 days or a day before, which I'm sure it sucked for you guys. So
no.
Well,
no.
Well, when I was training for the marathon, I was actually going up to Peters Canyon like every other day and just running 6-7 miles on the hills, trying to do the hills. But every time I got up to a hill, I realized I could not breathe. It was pretty bad. And I don't know if it was like the combination of that, and then it being like the beginning of summer and getting the summer allergies people get, because I have allergies too. So it might have been a combination of those two things. But I was running with my headphones, and the same thing. Like, you've been to Peters Canyon. There's these steep, like almost 40-degree inclines that they'll suck the life out of you. Yeah. Like, once you get up there, you're barely hanging on. And so I also experienced that, which was, I was so immersed in my thoughts that the music was not even there anymore. So I did go through that a little bit, but I'm sure 26 miles, that it doesn't compare to the 7 miles I did.
No, it happens to me all the time. I'm like, because your thoughts take over you, and you're just like going through everything that you're doing, and so for me, I love running. It's very therapeutical, where you're just thinking about everything, the business, everything, and you're just...
So you use running not as I guess it's a form of meditation, but it's really about reflecting.
Yeah, because I mean you're by yourself. I mean I run by myself, and I'm going, especially when I have some stressful days or things are happening. I just go for the run because I'm able to release all that energy and all those thoughts and everything, and just trying to put them in order while exercising, and something about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, you also get that runner's high.
Yeah.
Did you guys experience that? Did you experience the runner's high?
What do you mean runner's high?
I don't know if I've ever experienced it. I think maybe once. It's almost like a psychedelic experience a little bit, where you feel like a little lighter. It's like it's like drinking coffee. It's like a stimulant. Like your head and your endorphins, or your brain is flooded with endorphins, so you feel better.
I feel good.
Yeah.
I always feel good when I run. I felt really good, although the pain was almost unbearable. But I mean, ultimately, I felt good.
What about like when you were training, and you didn't get all that pain? And did you feel like it was just like a moment of?
I don't know if you experienced this, Gilbert, but the difference between running 10 miles and 26.2 miles is not really the distance itself, but almost like accomplishing this crazy goal. And that was the high for the marathon. Like, whoa, I ran a marathon. That's really cool. I did a marathon, and I got to like actually now see, I get why people do this. This is a crazy experience to have. I would physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's a crazy experience to go through. I don't know why people want to, but I get now, like after finishing it, I go, they're trying to get this feeling that I'm feeling right now.
And,
it could
and
be
so
that
how
high.
would you describe that feeling for someone like myself who's never run a marathon before?
I don't know if you've seen the Grand Canyon before. Okay, or maybe you've seen something so beautiful, you're like, I could try to explain it to this person and be like, no, you don't understand. It looks fake, but it's not. It's like this. I could try to explain it to you, but you'd have to really feel it yourself.
You have to do it yourself.
You have to do it. I could try to explain it, and then I can try to say, it's kind of like this.
Right. But it wouldn't do it justice.
But it wouldn't do it justice. This is a little bit different. It's like Gilbert said, you're running by yourself, and you are. We're running by ourselves. And you're going through your pain and everything, why you're doing this. So it's its own experience.
Yeah, this is it's actually kind of embarrassing, man. But when I was 10, 12 years old, do you guys remember in elementary school there was like a Dino Dash? It's called Dino Dash. It was like a little,
like
a little
what they did.
1-2 miles for kids or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I enrolled. I'm like, Dino Dash, dinosaurs or whatever the hell it was. It was like a little festival. It was like people would like get together. They would be like food trucks, whatever. It was like a little
school
event. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. And I made my mom, dude. I'm like, Mom, you got to take me. I want to go. I want to run. Well, you had to buy a shirt, and then she had to iron it and kind of she had to iron it, and hang on guys, Gilbert's having technical difficulties over here with the mic.
Man.
I got you.
I think you're
anyway, so while you guys work on that, so we don't have any dead air, so I at that point in time, my mom had to wake up early that day, iron the sticker on my shirt. So I made her buy me this. You had to pay like $35 just to sign up. The shirt was $15, and if you wanted the sticker, it was like another $5. Man. So my mom spent all this money. She didn't go to work that day. My brother came to see me as well, and
let me pull it up.
And I start running. I started running with everybody, and like maybe halfway through, I just stopped. I saw like a tennis ball on the side of the road, and I just started playing with it. I just started walking like.
Wait, what do you mean? You're in the middle of the run?
Yeah.
You're in the middle
and
of
I just got this completely distracted.
You
like,
saw a tennis ball in the street?
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, like that's cool. It's a brand new one. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go play with this. So I just kind of like.
Would you forget about that you were in the middle?
No, man. I was
forget.
walking. I half-assed it basically.
Yeah.
That's the.
Why? What happened though? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that to yourself at the time? Do you remember?
No, man.
You can't remember why?
The lack of discipline. I'm 12.
But you were so excited for this.
I guess it wasn't what I thought it would be. Like I didn't know what I wanted to get out of it. I just kind of went in there blindly. I'm like, oh, it's something new. All my friends are doing it, and it would be cool to try it out. But halfway through, I gave up, I guess. And I remember, dude, my brother, when he saw me like coming in playing with the tennis ball, he just shook his head. He was like, what the heck are you doing? And that stuck with me, dude. That stuck with me. And so I think that had to do with my decision not to run it because I wasn't 100%. Mm-hmm. Like now in hindsight, not that I'm kind of processing it right now, I'm thinking that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
That I thought I psyched myself out. You know, you said it earlier. It doesn't matter if you piss yourself, if you have to use the restroom, if you have to stop a little bit, if you have to walk, crawl, as long as you finish it. That's the whole point of this marathon. I wasn't thinking about it that way. I was thinking about it I only prepared this much. I was only able to run 7 miles. 20, that's like a quarter of the marathon.
Yeah.
So I think I was like, psyching myself out. I'm like, I'm not 100%. I feel like I'm going to fail. I think that's ultimately why I made that decision that day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a good decision because, you also need to be prepared. You can't just go out there and run. You're gonna hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. We were preparing, and if you didn't feel it, because we obviously we wanted to finish, but if it was something, it was life threatening, we would have stopped. Because it's pretty dangerous too. You could hurt yourself, and we did, right? We what is it? Dislocated one of
like a foot bone,
and that thing hurts, man. I couldn't step on it for a couple of days.
I'm just still
and it still kind of hurts a little bit, mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. So you made a good choice by understanding, like, all right, well, I really want to do this, but I also don't want to hurt myself because we all have jobs to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, when I was there, when I met up with you guys, I'm like, damn, that could have been me right there. I took a couple of pictures. Maybe I'll upload it to the thumbnails or something. Mm-hmm. Make a little, but it was cool, man. It was really cool cheering you guys on, seeing you guys push through the pain.
Yeah, and the injuries. Just so, if anybody is planning on running a marathon and maybe they've prepared the way we prepared. Right? Maybe they've done what we've done, which is stretch, drink water, have people there for you, support, try to just run a few months before, get your cardio up, is that there's going to be injuries afterward. Yeah. Like, we were in pain for, I'd say, a week. Yeah, and for the next 2 days after the marathon, we were almost not being able to walk. So if you're going to plan a marathon, plan a couple days off after, just to get some rest, to rest your knees and your ankles or whatever, because there is going to be a lot of pain. But it's not unbearable. It's actually kind of like it's kind of cool. It was like almost like a rite of passage pain where I was proud of it. Mm-hmm. I was proud to have that pain.
Like, you went to war and you survived. You came back. You have a little scar here and there.
It was like a scar. Yeah. It felt a little good. It got in the way a little bit, but I still was like, I understood why I was. It's not like a why this is happening to me kind of pain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess, like, for me, I used to, back when I was really dedicated going to the gym, that was like leg day for me. Like, you cannot walk. You can't. You're having trouble going to the bathroom, but you're walking around like full of testosterone, full of confidence.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
full
that
of confidence.
So that's something that you kind of felt that day. Like
yeah. The pain gives you that, but it's for what I was thinking originally was that it was going to be so bad that I was going to be unbearable, but it wasn't. It's bearable. It's just.
I think it's the day after, where you're like, damn, everything hurts, because everything was hurting, especially my leg. But
you were saying something about almost like psyching yourself out, and I'll let you know. Shout out to Gabe, who was also part of the group.
Gabe Perez.
Gabe, South Designs Co. He had knee pain too, very excruciating knee pain, and you get that, but I almost psyched myself out too, the same way you did, the same exact way you did. Like I was like, oh my god, I didn't prepare enough, I didn't get this enough, or I couldn't do this, or I just was like, what if I walked it? What if I walked 26.2 miles? Why do I need to run it, you know? So I just kept telling myself that to get out of, like, not, because I really was going to be like, yeah, I'm over it. I don't want to do this. Why? What for? What's the point?
Why?
Like, and it was all because I felt like I didn't run enough, or I wasn't good enough, or I was watching Gilbert run like 9 miles a fucking day.
Dude, you got up to 16 miles. I'm like, dude, how are you even running 16 miles?
My average was like 2-3 miles, and it was just really relaxed runs, just listening to my music, trying to get, and trying to enjoy running, which I like. And nighttime runnings especially. So I was just enjoying myself, but I was daunted because Gilbert was running so many miles. And he's a runner, and I was like,
at heart, he's a runner.
At heart, he's a runner, and he was going in, and I was like, man, I don't think I'm ready enough. I'm gonna hurt myself. Oh, this is not worth it. Have a lot of more important. I almost got out, and unfortunately, it's kind of one of those things when you're at a party and you leave a little too late because a couple people left before you, but now you're just like, shit, now I can't leave. It was kind of like that. I was like, oh shit, I'm the last one that said no. Okay, I can't leave now. You know what, Gilbert? Of course I'll go with you. But I also knew this was really important to knock off my list and get it off my. So there was a lot more that wanted me to stay and do it than didn't. But I was very close. I would say very close. It could have been any little thing, one more thing. I wouldn't.
Like if you had like stomach pain in the morning, you're like, oh, I'm calling
little
out.
Thing. I wouldn't have.
Which, by the way, I had, and I was thinking to myself,
that same morning
same morning.
Okay.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. It would have been a good story to tell on here.
I have a checklist that I made the night before.
Share it with
people. This is a check. It's on Google. I'll share it with you. It's I made it the night before to remind because I was really nervous. And look, you're not going to get any sleep. If anybody is trying to run a marathon and just the night before, if you get no sleep, just know you're going to run it anyways. It was too much to put in my head. Like, I need to get 8 hours today, so I'm fully rested. It's like, no, you should have done that earlier in the week. Just relaxed and got 8 hours. So the night before, I made this checklist, and this is what it was. It's called Just Do It. It's wake up, drink entire water, but drink an entire water jug. Make a shake, stretch for 30 minutes, every muscle, take a cold shower, dress for success, and then finish a marathon. That was my checklist.
That was your to-do list.
That was my to-do list in the morning. That's what I did in the morning. I drank a whole cup of water. I made a shake. I stretched for 30 minutes. Every muscle, I made sure I started from the top to bottom. 30 minutes, I had a timer set. I took a cold shower. I dressed for success, meaning I had my right socks, my right shoes, my right shorts, my right underwear, and my right shirt, and my hat, and I had a fanny pack. We're not going to talk about that. And then the next thing to do was now just finish the marathon. That was it. That was my checklist in the morning that made the day.
And I think that kind of sets a, what is it called? A precedent of success. Like, it was like a domino effect. Like you started with one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you mentioned like 6-7 things. Well, once you got to the last one, you're like, okay, like all I have to do is just run now.
Yeah. So
And that's
there
it.
was like 7 things to do. And the reason why I did that and it was helping me because it shut off my brain the night before. I told you I made it the night before. I just made it. And I said, any other thought is useless to me.
Yeah.
I just need to be thinking about those things and they can't happen yet until I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I made that checklist just for that because I was getting really nervous, almost like I was like wanting to quit. Like I was like, oh shit. And I was even telling myself, you know what, Robert, who cares if you get halfway, just stop. Who cares if you get halfway, just stop. And it was like little thoughts like that. Well, then why are you going to do it anyways? Just don't do it. You know, this is let Gilbert take over. It's fine. Let him have it. I'll be there. I'll support him. But it was like little things like that, little voices. But once I made the checklist, it was done.
I'm glad you went through it, man, because I mean, out of 5-7 people who were originally in the group, we all fell off, and you guys, well, you know, the leadership, you guys kind of just took it from there.
Yeah.
And you guys set the date, and especially with our little mastermind group, like
Oh yeah.
once we set dates, and you know,
It's done.
we know.
Done.
So we actually learned that, I think, from this whole marathon thing. We started picking that up is okay. So if you want to run a marathon, set a date.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about getting ready or getting your shoes and figuring anything out. Don't worry about figuring out the track or where you're going to run, how you're going to run, who's going to help you out. Forget about all that. Forget about how much you need to train. Set a date. Go 3 months to 6 months. You will set a date. Just set the date. If it's 1 year, set the date. Write it down and tell people. That's another one.
Yeah.
Tell everybody around you, I am running a marathon on this date. Can you help me? Or, you know, just to let you know, like let people know, because then that's going to make you feel accountable. Because without that date, it would have still been an idea that we created in a group text with, you know, a bunch of friends, and it would have never really pushed people to break off or even to commit. So him setting the date, it was on.
Right.
Yeah. No, for me, it was a very, very different experience. I was excited, man. I was going. I was like, we're going to do this, because my goal is to run 100 miles and pass the 100 miles. And this is the first step I need to take. And I had to set a date. And when everybody got on board, I was excited. I'm like, oh, we're going to do it. But I was already doing it to the point where, like, a couple weeks before, I was like, I'm just going to go run it, because I saw everybody just falling off. You know, and I was like, Robert left, you know, I was like, if he doesn't want to do it, I'm still going to go. Like, I'm going to show up. Like, there's no way. So my whole mentality was like, I'm going. I'm going to do this. This is the one thing I need to do. If I want to run 100 miles, I need to be able to run 26. And I was even like, you know what? If I get there and I'm feeling great, I'm going to do 30. I'm just going to push it. But 20... it broke me. I was like, man, this is not what I was expecting, because I was just, you know, I had my pace going. I'm like, if I hit 8 minutes a mile, I'm gonna do it under 3 hours. I'm just, you know, and I looked at the because I have an app, and I tracked it, and it was 8:30, 8:40, you know. So I'm like, dude, but once I hit you cheered me on, and then I tried to speed it up, and I got those cramps. It really scared me. Because I couldn't even see the finish line, but I would see, like, I have to pass all of Huntington Beach and all these people, and I'm just going, and I'm at the same time like, I need to go faster, like I need to break this time, you know. And then when I couldn't, that's when I was moving my hands, and people were just looking at me. They had no idea, but at the same time, I wasn't there. I was in the different, you know, different world.
I think you were like in the flow.
I was going, and then I would, you know, and I would just try to like think of other things, but the pain and everything, and I'm like, man, and I wanted to run 30. So it really humbled me. It really humbled me to where now I understand the feeling and what I need to do, and it was all because I ran the marathon. So just do it, just go in, and you're not gonna die, you know, but you also need to set a date and just get it done. And after you do that, it's like you're breaking you're breaking through another barrier where you're like, damn, I just ran 26 miles. Like, not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why a lot of people
Yeah, I
do it.
imagine it's the same kind of feeling. Like, I had that feeling 4, like anywhere from 4 to 6 years ago, when growing up, I was always like, not like super overweight, but I was definitely like on the chubbier side. And then one day I just committed to just eating healthy. I was working out. Next thing you know, I had 6-pack. When I woke up one day, I'm like, oh crap, I have a 6-pack. Like, what else can I do? And that kind of kicked off this whole entrepreneurial type of mentality that I now have.
Oh,
Nice.
Hey, by the way, getting a 6-pack, that's really tough to do.
And you know what? It's like the same. It's like the marathon. It really isn't. It really is just about. See, the one thing that I've realized watching you guys just run. You were running like a 7-minute mile at the beginning, no?
Mm-hmm. 8.
8?
Mm-hmm.
So an 8 mile, and then getting to like a little longer. Maybe it was a 10, and then
No, man,
12.
It went up to 16.
So the one thing I saw from an outsider's perspective was that it didn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you kept going, it didn't matter how long it took. But the important thing was that you kept going. And that's what you're saying, that you always say it everywhere you go, whether it's on social media or a text or whatever it is. It's life is a marathon. Life is a marathon, and it's true. I find it to be really true.
Yeah, we're
But to say that they both are really tough to do. Running, I don't also want to say that it's not. Like getting a 6-pack is tough. It's obviously just do it.
It's like discipline.
Okay, we're telling you, just do it, but it's tough. Just to let you know ahead of time, it's tough. Running a marathon is not easy. It's tough. And
it's like I think for when we don't experience it, when we just say it, saying it, the word and the name doesn't. It kind of throws you off. There's no weight to it. It's just a word. When you're at mile 20, you're breaking down and you're in pain. I don't know. I probably would have shat myself, to be honest, at mile 20 if I felt that type of pain.
Oh man.
Going through that, like the suffering, gives you a whole different type of understanding.
Oh yeah.
That you can't get from listening to other people's experience.
Marco, in my entire life, I'm 32. I've never spoken to God the way I spoke to God in that day.
Oof.
In mile 22, 23, a little towards the end, and I'm on the asphalt. It's hot. I'm on the side of the road. Bikers are passing me to my left, cars, and I'm breaking down. And every time my foot hits the ground, it's pain throughout my entire body. And I'm trying to get myself out of that pain by talking myself out. And to the point where I didn't think I was going to be able to continue. I thought I was going to cramp up and just pass out right there on the side of the road. And I just spoke to God. I was like, God, like, I'm just like, just help me get through this. Just help me get through this part right here. Like, I was really talking like out loud. I mean, no one, I was just really out loud, like calling out, like, please just let me get through this part right here. Like, I know I'm thirsty. Please just get my body to get here. Remove the pain from my mind. I've never talked to God like this. Another voice comes in my head, keeps me going. The motivator. It was the motivator voice. He was really good. He was locking me in the whole time, but he came stronger, and we just made it past that part. But it was like that suffering. It woke me like, why do you like to make yourself suffer so bad, Robert? Why would you? I was getting mad at Gilbert. I was at a point. I was so mad at him. I was like, this. How? Why? What? He's so stupid. This is this. Like, I'm stupid. Why do I? And then I'm mad at my sister because she didn't get there like right. But I'm mad at her for that. But I'm like, I'm just glad she showed up anyways. But little things like that, I started getting angry, and it's one of those moments. The suffering, it's kind of beautiful. A little bit.
It is, because I went through the same thing. I spoke to God, and I was like, man, this is tough. This is gonna be a tough one, and that's one of the things that it came to mind. I was like, why am I doing this shit? Like, why am I putting my body through this? I was like, man, 100 miles. It's gonna happen, you know. But then I was like, wait, hold up. Like, this is not gonna beat me. This mindset is not gonna beat me. I gotta get back into it, and I started going, and I was like, you know what? Forget about the time, like you said. I forgot about the time, man. I was like, you know what? Now I'm just surviving, and now I need to finish. Like, this is my goal now, is to finish. Like, forget about the time. I'm done. Like, I can't go any faster, but I can keep on going.
Yeah,
and that's when
true.
I'm just like going, and I was like 1 foot in front of the other, 1 foot in front of the other, and look down and just control your breathing. And I'm just trying to do everything in my power to make the pain feel a lot better, where I'm like, but it's just, it breaks you, man. I was breaking, and I'm like, can't break anymore, and I'm breaking, you know, because I'm like, man, I can't do this. So when I saw my sister, it was like hope, like shit, like they got, somebody's got my back. And then I start the emotion, like I was like a kid. I was laughing at myself at the same time, because I was like, can't believe I'm crying, like this thing made me cry, you know. But it was like, it was a beautiful feeling, because now I'm like, I can do 26. Like, there's no problem. I can do 26. I can get better. I'm gonna get better at this. I'm gonna get back, and I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna get a better time, and I'm gonna go on to 30. But this was like, I needed to go through this pain to understand where I'm at and what I'm capable of doing.
Yep.
And then you relate it to your business and to your personal life. It's like, just do it. Let's set a date and let's get it done, because the pain's inevitable. You have to go through pain, but the success and the feeling is incredible.
It's the feeling.
Yeah.
I would encourage people to do it, because I want them to feel what I felt.
Yeah,
it's like if I the closest thing would be like if maybe a psychedelic drug, the high, something like that. Like, I want you to experience that. It's a beautiful feeling.
Now, running the marathon and climbing Mount Baldy. Which one do you think was, like, the first time we did Mount Baldy? Did you did it that day or no?
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
No, you didn't go.
I had done it before.
Yeah.
So, which one do I mean? They both have their own
the marathon, but they both have their own feeling. Because climbing a mountain is very similar, but it's, you know, you when you climb a mountain, there's a feeling to climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of like, it's confidence, but it's like you're conquered something. You know, it's a really weird feeling when you climb a mountain and get to the top and look down or look around.
Yeah.
But the marathon is it's something else.
Yeah.
Something else.
When we're climbing, we get to stop and rest for a little bit and see the view. All I saw was a road. That's all I saw.
A sidewalk and road.
Yeah, just a straight. So that also, you know, messes with your head, where you're like, man, this doesn't end. And it doesn't get any closer, you know? You're expecting it to get... It just keeps getting farther and farther away till, you know, you're like, damn, like, this is tough. This is going to be a tough one. But...
So if you're planning to do or to run a marathon, or jog a marathon, we scouted a place, which was PCH, from Laguna to Huntington Beach. But
so cause some people are international listeners, so... We're actually in California, Orange County, PCH. It's the Pacific Coast Highway that runs around along all of the coast in California, just for reference. So you guys went from Laguna Beach, which is close to Newport, like all the beach cities.
But scouting the place is going to be the thing. If you're going to scout a place and it's your first run, what we didn't fully account for was the hills. We knew that there were going to be hills, but we didn't fully account. And I didn't train for hills or anything like that.
As soon as Gilbert said it's Laguna Beach, I was like, oh my God.
Because
Laguna Beach, because I know Laguna Beach.
So if you choose a place, consider that. Are you going to be on an incline? Well, for how long? Because even the slow inclines, like they were but not that they weren't impossible to do.
Right.
But just so you know, you just keep an eye on that if you're going to choose a place.
That was literally the only reason why I was at Peters Canyon, which was those hills, because I knew had I gone through with it, those hills were gonna be for me, it was gonna be like the biggest obstacle I would have to.
It wasn't for me.
Exactly,
and it ended up not being. It ended up not being. It just got through it. There was too much more to worry about. There was too much pain to worry about. That there's a hill. It was more than the hill. Now it wasn't that I was going upward. I was going so slow, anyways.
Yeah.
I like your phrase, which was I can't go any faster, but I just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it was. I could not go. I was trying everything in my mind and my body to go as fast as I could, but I couldn't anymore. So I just knew I just had to keep going. So that's it. But watch the hills.
And then so I finished before him, and this is me. I'm very competitive, and I'm like, I'm gonna finish first. Like, there's no way Robert's gonna beat me. And it wasn't a competition. We didn't go in there with the whole, who's gonna. It was, but me personally was like, this was my idea. I'm gonna be first. Like, I have to get there, so I'm going. And that's why I'm like, everything just came, because I'm like, I can't move anymore. And this guy is like, and I kept looking, but I was like, no, this guy's gone. He's like way behind. But
I would have loved to. I would have loved to pass him. It would
And
have
I was
been great.
going,
At that time, you just kind of you have a better pace. You would have found your pace earlier. That's probably where you would have made.
I would have found some way.
But my ego went out the door when I was running at like mile 15, 16. I was like, you know what? It's not about Gilbert. This is about me and my experience. I'm going to keep my pace. But there was a moment when I was like, man, it'd be nice to pass this guy. Yeah. But once that mile 15, no, there was no way. I wasn't worried about trying to beat somebody else's time. I was worried about trying to finish it.
Just finish
and giving it my all. That's it. I was worried about me. But I only learned that like halfway in.
That's so funny.
And then I finished, and then I was able to like recover. And his sister was there, and she gave me, food. I was finally able to get some food. But you kept the keys, right? So I couldn't even open the car. So I was outside, and this guy, I went with Julie to go see where he was at, and he was coming down the PCA. He had like 5 miles to go, and I'm like, man, I could see his pain. And he was just going, and I was like, man, I know, man, but you got this. So we parked right about, man, I want to say, how many yards from the actual finish line? It was about, I don't know, couple feet, And this guy stops. He sees me right before the finish line, and he just stops, and he goes like this.
Oh.
And I was like, no, man, you're not done.
Oh, I see what he's saying. No, I remember that. So I get
like the stretch.
I get to my car, which was parked. I'm gonna say
like
about 50 feet.
50 feet.
50 feet was a post where we were supposed to touch that post and say that's the official mark. Well, I get to the car 50 feet before, and I'm like celebrating already. I just stop and I start talking to them. Like I just kind of like start stretching, and he's telling me as I'm done, and I just finished it. He goes, "No, the post is over there." And it's 50 feet, and I can see it, and it's up a little hill. It's not a lot, but at that time, I thought he was joking. I not 50 feet hurt me more. It hurt me more. It actually, what happened, I got to the 50 feet, I touched the post, and I just started crying.
Yeah, I saw that. That was.
I just started crying. I couldn't hold back my tears. I couldn't even hold back my emotion. Everything that I had been through the last 6 hours, it all came to like a halt.
Right.
All the thinking stopped. Everything stopped. All the lessons and the God and everything. It just kind of halted. And then I just started crying. And then I was done.
It was funny. He was mad at me. He's like, "No, I'm done. What the fuck?" Like, "No, man." Like, and I was like laughing because
I thought he was joking.
I know Gilbert is like, I know.
It was just like, dude, no, you're not done. Like, go.
But as I was running to the post, because I wasn't running, I was like limping. I did remember that earlier in the morning he had mentioned, hey, that's the post right there. We have to touch that post. It's just, I forgot. So, but yeah.
Imagine like I mean, I would have been so pissed. I'm like, I stopped 50 feet from the thing.
But he kept going. He did it.
But
He
that's
finished
good,
it.
man.
He
That's
went,
it, yeah.
he went.
I think that would encapsulate the whole moral of today's podcast. It's really that you just, it doesn't matter. You just have to keep going.
You gotta
To
keep
reach the
going,
finish
man.
line.
You
Yeah.
gotta keep going. If you set yourself a goal, just see it through. See it through, because as hard it may seem, as impossible as it may seem, you know, if you keep your mind to it and you keep consistency, it's good habits, all of that, you're gonna get there. And once you get there, there's like the possibilities, all these doors open up, because you're like, man, if I can do that, I can do this. And it's all planning, and it's just putting it out there. Just because even when I would tell them, like, man, I'm already telling people I'm running 30 miles. It's like, but I want to put it out there because I want that pressure of like, now you have to do it, you know. And now it's October. We're gonna go. We're gonna get it done. So it's like getting those goals, and whatever it is, it doesn't have to be running. Whatever it is that gets you going, gets your brain, gets your energy going, is very positive. And I really recommend it for everybody to get uncomfortable, and get those accomplishments, because they're really gonna, you know, pave the path for your future.
See, I 100% agree with that, right? The group or the mastermind, we're all running a business, you know, all these things. I agree with that, but there are some people who that's not their life. That's not what they're about. And see, and it's also something that maybe. Not just us, but people in general talk about it too much. It's not. I'm not going to say it's overrated, but it's actually underrated. But the fact is that they don't understand what that actually means. Like we talk, like you talk about the marathon, and you're kind of telling me about the pain, but unless I go do it, I won't understand it. And so people have this skewed idea of, well, if I'm consistent and have good habits, like, oh, I'm going to be successful. Yeah, but the problem is not that if you do those things, it's if you don't do those things, you won't get there. And so, I don't know. I just thought I had to kind of just say it, because we like to paint a picture of saying, like, the moral of the story is keep going, but sometimes people are not cut out for that, or maybe that's not what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we know some people like that.
Oh, yeah. So you don't want to give the advice that
you have
to do something.
Right.
Or you have to do something that you said, that you said you were going to do. You don't have to.
No,
you don't have to. You're not forced to.
Right.
But if you want to, and that's your goal, setting some type of discipline, some type of thing is going to be the key.
Yeah, I just feel like we have to touch upon that too, because I'm sure there's a lot of listeners who, I'm just saying, you know, like some people will be motivated, some people will not be motivated, but
then the question would be, if we'll relate this to the marathon, why? Ask yourself why you're doing it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't line up with your values or with you, then stop. But I asked myself why, and the reason was way bigger than to quit.
right.
It was way bigger than to quit. So it worked for me.
Yeah. And like I said, you could do anything, anything, you know. The level of there's no really a right way of a feeling accomplished. It's you getting uncomfortable, you know, because that's what happens. We get comfortable, and we don't want to get uncomfortable, and we don't want to go through that failure, because, you know, we're content with what we have. But and it's different for everybody. But it's a great feeling, you know. It's a great feeling of accomplishment, and once you start doing that, like, there's no turning. I wasn't always like this, man. I was never, you know, I never really set goals or stuff.
Which,
like
by the way, man, over the past 4 or 5 months, I mean, not just the energy that you kind of bring to the group, but the things that you're posting now. I mean, you lost a ton of weight.
Oh, yeah.
You look better. I'm sure you feel more confident. You feel more like you know, a little.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I
You
feel.
feel good, right?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel with. I feel with a lot of energy. I have a lot of energy, but it's because of those things. Because I wanted to get uncomfortable and be like, man, this is it's easy for me because I'm already in there and I know I look back at what I was doing. I was almost 200 pounds. I wasn't working out. I felt tired. I wasn't getting uncomfortable. And once I started doing that, I realized like, holy crap, there's a different world where everything is possible. Like everything that we talk, because everybody has dreams, but nobody really sets out to do those because they think it's impossible. And it's also the people around you, the mastermind that helped me a lot. So with you combine all those things, and it's like there's no way I'm gonna stay back because this is a race, this is a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're everybody's trying to get somewhere.
Right.
You know, and my somewhere is, you know, running those 100 miles. My somewhere is getting that successful business, and I have to do those things. For many people, it's just getting out of the couch,
Right.
and doing something, and that's an accomplishment.
Going out for a walk.
Yeah, and that's why I tell everybody. I tell all my, you know, my family, I'm like, start by walking 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes. You know, you start walking 5, and then you go into 10. And then you start doing other things, and it gives you the confidence to do other things outside of like your word. You start getting, so it's about getting uncomfortable and getting it done, you know.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done, of course.
It's about looking at things through a different angle. I feel like, I don't know, it might just be me, but since we embarked on this whole journey that we're on, before I did that, I felt like I was kind of headed in one direction, and it was not a good one. Like, it was kind of mediocre, nothing special, limited experiences. It was not for me. And it wasn't until I put a stop to that and I said, wait a minute. Like, okay, I'm at a fork in the road. I'm like, I have to decide whether I'm going to keep doing this or reach out to these two guys and ask them to be part of the mastermind. and literally that was the start of this whole journey that we've been on. Yeah. I mean, without the mastermind, I don't think I'd be doing this podcast, right?
I don't think I would be doing my business and this, because when we started, it was just a bunch of guys. You know, I went back to school. We did a bunch of stuff, like trying to get there, trying to get to our end goal. But we've been at it for how long now?
4 years, 5 years.
4 years, and we did it religiously, man. We were there on Sunday evenings, Tuesdays.
Right. Gilbert and I for 4 years, 5 years have met no more than every 2 weeks for 4 years to keep working on ourselves.
Right.
And we're so far away from where
and
we
at
want
first,
to be.
I remember, you know, it was like, oh, well, the first thing is to read a book. Remember that?
Yeah. We had
and then,
books,
but we like the difference from. And I don't know if it's maturement, getting older, and just getting wiser, I guess. It was, it was more like, how could I put it into words? Like back then, it was a lot of wishful thinking. Like, I want this success. Oh, I want this, I want that. But we never, dude, right now, and just. The things that we that are part of our job, and they're difficult, but at the end it's like, oh, it's just part of it. Let's go, like whatever. It's just nothing's gonna happen. You know, whatever. It's just part of the process. So we're starting to almost embrace that a little bit, and so it gets a little easier. Mm-hmm. You know, the suffering, the pain, the being uncomfortable, getting yelled by people, dude. It's like it's uncomfortable, and nobody wants to go through that, but. It changes you.
But you want that feeling at the end. There's this feeling that we're chasing in business. I don't know what exactly the feeling is, where that success comes from. I don't know how much money it's going to have to be, or how many people, or how many trucks, or how much property. I don't know when, but there's a feeling. And I think we're getting it like a runner's high. We're getting it every now and then. We get these wins in our business, and it feels really good. It feels really good to have put something together, and I don't know. It's like a game. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's fun.
And so is the marathon. Despite all the pain that we've been through, even in business, the people yelling and missing things. You just all the negative stuff that come with it. It's not that bad because we're chasing that feeling at the end, and I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it helps at the fact that this is what we love. This is what we want to do. This is my choice. I chose to do that, and that's why it makes it so much better, because it's like I choose to do these things. Nobody's forcing me to do anything, And once we start doing that, and we start talking and putting it out there, it's like you're just going. I've had my downs, man. I've gone down so hard,
right?
But then it's like there is no other way but up, right? So let's just go. You fucked up. We messed up. We shake it off and let's just continue, because that's the only way.
Life is peaks and valleys, right?
Yeah, you're just going.
And the marathon is like just going through it. Yeah. Just like the mission for this podcast, I wrote it down the other day, and it's on because this is launch week.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna start promoting it everywhere.
Nice.
Social media, like I feel like I was preparing for. I was kind of doing my little 5 miles here and there.
Oh yeah.
And try to prepare for launch, because again, might have been me psyching myself out. Maybe I thought I wasn't ready to do a podcast like this. And so I it's been a year and a couple of months, but now I feel like I got the pace going. I'm gonna start doing it more. And I even forgot where I was going with that.
Well, with the podcast, when before anything, it was to get to 100, right?
Yeah,
that's like your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't matter, I mean, you really care. You really do care, and you try your best to increase it as the quality and everything as at your pace, as you can at your pace. And the goal is to get to 100, but it's not how fast you get to 100. Right, we don't expect you to get there next year or 5 years. It's up to you. But that was your goal: get 100 videos out, and that sounds like a really good, a really cool, fun accomplishment.
And I actually, I guess, streamed hours. I thought we were at like 70. We're like at 95.
Nice.
97. And so it's only been like a year. I'm thinking, well, you do it for your 10,000 hours. I'll see where I'm at then. Yeah. That's like one of the goals. Just put 10,000 hours in. Mm-hmm. But really, it's about documenting. It's like the blog, like the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys. Well, back to the mission, which is to document our ever-changing perspective on the world, and documenting how we change during this whole time, from the day that I decided to be a business owner and self-called entrepreneur, like we like to say in the group, and then seeing where I'm at in 10 years, and I think, and by then, looking back at these types of episodes, I'm sure we'll have a blast.
I'll have a good laugh.
Oh, yeah. But you've definitely, my hat's off to you, man. You've definitely grown in this whole thing, because you started off with the cheaper mics, and now you're upgrading, and I see that you're doing, and that's what it is. You got uncomfortable, and now you're persistent, because we tried starting up.
Yeah,
it failed.
Yeah, fair.
But seeing you do all this, and I'm like, man, this is it. You're at 53 episodes. You're halfway there, and you have more to grow. So it's like now these goals are now, if before they seemed unattainable, you're like, man, what? But now as you're rolling, you're like, man, this is getting better, and then I see it.
Momentum.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, man.
Well, thanks, man.
This is great. The vibe is good. Your studio.
Yeah, I think that the next thing is to just get better video quality and make it more immersive for the guests. So like getting headphones and just really locking into these conversations. Again, whether the camera's on or not, or the mic's on or not, our meeting is basically this.
This is our meetings. Our mastermind meetings are
we had our... Obviously, we had our more serious conversation earlier today, but this is still part of the mastermind for me.
And even that conversation that we had earlier, it's part of the conversations that we always have, and this included. Yeah.
Right.
It's life. It's
Yeah,
all about
man.
Life.
So, any last thoughts? Any other comments? Like,
Well, okay, to talk on the marathon afterward and maybe the effects that it's had after. Very similar to like what Gil was saying. It kind of stays with you a little bit. And it carries on into other aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say, looking back on it, if anybody's considering doing this or running a marathon, set the date. I just want to end it there.
Mm-hmm.
Just set the date, and you can run it. Just run it. That's it.
and then importantly, whether it's a marathon, a walk,
Whatever it is.
getting into the gym, eating healthy, or just picking up a book, whatever it may be, just set a date.
Set a date.
Yeah.
And then worry about it, and tell people. But set the
Yeah.
date. I can't stress that enough. It's just always going to be a dream if you don't set the date. It's always just going to be your
Yeah,
mind
and it's also
another
very
want.
it's also very easy to just reschedule, or not to reschedule, but to push that date off. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't make it, like, oh, I'll do it next Monday, or I'll do it next. But if you don't really like sit down and put it on paper like you did, I mean, you texted us, you're like, so guys, when are we running this marathon? I'm like, well, give me a date, and you gave us the date. I'm like, oh, damn.
I know. I remember that. I was.
Yeah,
I
he
was in
called
my
our
house.
bluff.
Yeah.
I was in my house, and I was smoking. I was just thinking, and these messages started going, and I'm like, you know what? I need to set a fucking date.
Because we had been reminding
Yeah.
him to set dates for a while, and he
Everybody
wasn't
was
setting a
telling me,
date.
like, oh, when? I'm like,
And then we were like, "You're the one that hasn't set a date. Just give us a
Yeah.
date. You're the one
Yeah.
He kept bringing it up, but with no date. And he
Right.
finally just
That's what I
set
go
a
to,
date.
and I have a calendar by my door, and I'm like, all right, boom, big letters or marathon. What was it? I still have it. It was like July, no June.
July, it's
June?
July or June.
And I was like, this is what,
June 30th. Yeah,
yeah, and
or July. No, June 30th. Yeah.
30th.
and right after the marathon, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to continue this. And then 2 days later, I was feeling better. I'm like, you know what? Let's set the date for the 30 mile. So I set it for October, so it's there. So I'm like, damn, now I got to do it. But I was like, right, it's out there,
I wonder if we can. I was gonna try to, since I wasn't running at that time. I wanted to like video or document some of the marathon. I wonder if we can maybe do like a little, just a little video for the purpose of maybe this podcast or
Yeah.
something.
I actually like where you're going with this, and we'll talk about some ideas. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good. I like this.
That'd
yeah.
be really cool.
Okay.
Just
That'd be
to, I mean, obviously you can just go online and look at the people running marathons. See, go watch David Goggins. If you really want to get crazy.
I watched that guy. Oof. He gets to another level.
But if for the people that are listening to this podcast, I think it would be cool to get an inside look as to what it kind of, how it became something, and how we prepared, or the ins and outs of it. I think it would be really cool for people
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing Peters Canyon, running Peters Canyon, and running a marathon in Peters Canyon. So
That's
like,
insane.
that's seven laps, 7.5 laps around the whole park.
Isn't it 7 miles one way? Or it's
One
7
loop-
miles, one loop.
One loop is 6 miles.
So you have to do
Four, right? Four.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
four.
7. 4.
I mean,
Four and a half.
4.5.
4.5 laps. So that's what I've been thinking of doing for a marathon. So
By the
That's
way,
crazy.
that's still okay. If anybody's considering running a marathon, especially during COVID time, you could run in circles. You could run around your block if it's a 2 mile block. You don't have to go find an epic by the beach road. No, you could run
after running
around
that beach road, it's
Yeah.
like
Do you think that was like detrimental?
No, I enjoyed
No?
it. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing the water and everything like that.
I didn't have time to see the water.
After like the 15 mile, I forgot about that we were even by the beach, but
You were just looking.
I was
at
looking
the road
at
ahead.
the road ahead, like my feet and my front, like that, just right there. But I mean, it was nice. It was cool.
Yeah.
But you could run in circles. You could just what app are you using?
A runner keeper. Run
Keeper.
Maybe we'll get together and I'll put some links for the apps on the description.
Yeah, maybe put the link for the app so people could use that one, because then that way you could just track yourself.
Yeah, because the one I have it's really shitty. It just came with the phones. Sometimes I'm like, man, I feel like I ran more than 7 miles, and it was like
It feels that way.
6.5.
It feels that way, but you don't.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know.
and then let's see if we could change anything or prepare more for. What would you?
Oh man, shoes. Get the proper shoes. Don't because your feet.
So
your
get the
feet-
proper gear.
get the proper gear.
Yeah, take care of your feet.
Take care of your feet.
Take care of your feet, because that's the one that's going to be taken. Wear a knee brace. Get a knee brace if you need one.
Moral support is very
Moral support for water,
it's
for anything
key,
like
yeah.
that. And then, yeah, I mean, that's it. I would look back on that and say that's all I.
Yeah, be safe, and that's what I was trying to. Because Dan and Derman, thank you so much for helping us, man. That was incredible. He's one of my clients, also my friend now, and he was like, yeah, I'll help you guys, and I was even kind of like, ooh, I don't know if, but he's like, no. So he went, he prepared, he took a first aid kit just in case, and I told him, I was like, if you see us, you see that we can't continue or something is wrong, like please stop us, and because he does mountain biking, road biking. He's
been around.
Yeah, he's riding 200 miles. So he's been in it, and now so I was like, that's perfect. That's a perfect person to start us off. So if you have somebody that's experienced, ideally, but not just be safe and have people help you out, and it's very important. It's for your moral. For moral support, for that motivation, having people out there, and it's cool, and it gets people fired up,
Fuel up.
Yeah,
Fuel
up. Get
Being
bananas
prepared
and-
is also a very
the basic
big
stuff they're
important.
telling you. It's not a lot to get ready. It's not a lot,
No,
but
no.
it's just looking back on it. Those were the most important things that I think we.
and Vaseline,
And what
on
you
your crotch.
You put Vaseline on your crotch?
Oh yeah.
I
Like, what?
You're good. And
kinda-
your nipples too, because of the burn.
didn't get.
I
didn't get any.
I never
chafing.
got that,
I didn't get
no.
any.
I
chafing.
never-
chafing,
I never got
or
chafing.
whatever. But just,
Yeah.
but all those things, and you can see them online.
You'll find
everything.
out if you run 10 miles.
Yeah,
All the problems you're going to deal with. You'll find out in 10 miles what you'll be dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
after
20
like the
though,
10,
20 though.
15 miles, everything's mental after that.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
for me, 20 after, because I feel great, because I was running 13, almost on a daily basis. But after the mile 20, it became mental. It was just like, oh man, this is crazy. Like this is, but me is like, nah, I can't stop. Like there's no way, I'm stopping. But is you be mentally ready for that pain as well, But nobody can prepare you for the pain.
Yeah.
at the same time.
Just do it.
Prepare for the unexpected too.
Just do it.
You know?
It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any other comments,
that's it.
thoughts? I think we've. It's only
Wow.
been like an hour or
Cool.
something.
Cool. That's an.
Well, why don't you guys tell everybody where they can find you guys? What kind of projects have you been working on lately, Robert?
You could find me on Instagram at the Realist Reader, reading Rain Book. Okay, that's
How, can you give the handle? Like, how do you spell it so people can look you up?
at reading_Rain Book. That's it. You just want me to repeat it
No,
again,
no,
or
no, no.
that's it?
Just- I want to make sure that.
we're gonna get the link.
And
down
what
in
do
the-
you? So I see that you always
Oh,
posting
so
new books.
it's just books I read, comment, and some side notes about things that have happened in my life or that I don't want to forget, because I want to put them all together and write a book on the experiences. But I'm just collecting them now so I don't forget them. So they're just life experiences,
Okay.
lessons and things like that I'm trying to remember.
Nice.
Yeah, stories.
That's great, man.
things like that.
That's really cool.
And good books on marketing, psychology, business, spiritual, happiness. There's discipline books, leadership books. There's all different types of books. Get ideas for anything like that.
Yeah.
Nice, Gilbert.
I mean, I don't have a Instagram page like that, but we are Pure One.
We are Pure One.
And you can find us on Instagram, Pure One.
So
Pure-
Orange County, if you
Orange
guys are
County.
looking for
Some
the
window
best
cleaning.
window cleaning in the area,
Yeah.
don't
Pure-
hesitate to go to pureonetoday.com.
Mhm.
Other than that, thank you guys for joining us. I had a lot of fun on this podcast. I'm glad that you guys are here to support me on the launch week.
Always.
We'll come back and hopefully I have you guys on again. Soon.
Definitely.
Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and that's all we ask for the support for the podcast.
There
We'll
you go.
continue to do it for free as we enjoy doing it. Hope you guys enjoy listening to us, and maybe you guys get some valuable lessons from this. But anyway, I'll see you guys later in the week.
Later.
Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank you.